Okay, today we're talking about how to find the percent of change of something. So you have to think of what those words mean. So for something to change or to find the change in something, you have to subtract. So in our formula, that's the first thing we're going to do, subtract our numbers on the top of a fraction. And then to turn a number into percent, you always divide and then multiply by 100. So we're going to divide by whatever the original amount is, which is typically the first number that they tell you. And then once you're done with that, we'll multiply by 100 just to move that decimal place over a little bit. So again, we're going to start by figuring out how much did it change. So to do that, we subtract. So 18 minus 15. It doesn't matter what order you subtract in. So if you want to do your biggest number minus your smallest number, that's fine. And then the bottom number, this is the most important part. The bottom number you have to divide by the first number. So divide by 15 and then times 100. So 18 minus 15 is 3. Then we can do 3 divided by 15, which is 0.2. And then when we multiply by 100, we get 20%. So it says to also determine if it was an increase or a decrease. So if it went from 15 yards to 18 yards, it went up 3. So that was an increase since it went up. If you get a number where it's a negative answer, just get rid of the negative in your answer because we can't have negative percents. It's no big deal. That's just a clue to tell you that it was a decrease. Okay, so number 2, figure out how much did it change. So we do that by subtracting 140 minus 100. Then we always divide by the first number, so 100. And then to turn to percent, multiply by 100. So 140 minus 100 is 40. Divided by 100 and then times 100. 40 divided by 100 is 0.40. And then when we multiply it by 100, it's the same as moving the decimal over twice to the right. So your answer is 40%. And then we need to figure out if it's an increase or decrease. So it went from 100 to 140. So it went up 40. So that's an increase. Number 3, subtract your numbers on the top. And again, you can subtract them in any order. So I'm going to do 12 minus 6 on top. Then you always divide by your first number. So divide by 12 times 100. 12 minus 6 is 6. Rewrite the rest of the problem. 6 divided by 12 is 0.5 or 0.50. When you multiply it by 100, you're going to get 50%. And then look back, it went from 12 to 6, so it went down, so that was a decrease. Number 4, subtract your numbers on top to figure out how much did it change. Divide by the first number, then times 100. 48 minus 14 is 34. 34 divided by 48 is about 0.7083 repeating. Then when you multiply that by 100, you're going to get about 70.8%. So I'm just going to round it. And then it went from 48 to 14, so it went down, so that's a decrease. Okay, I'm going to move down. Number 5, subtract to figure out the change. Divide by the first number and times 100. 1.6 minus 0.95 is 0.65. Then rewrite the rest of the problem. 0.65 divided by 1.6 is about 0.406. And then when you multiply that by 100, you're going to get about 40.6%. And then it went from 1.6 to 0.95, so it went down, so that's a decrease. Number 6, find out the change, so subtract. Divide by the first number that they told you in the problem, times 100. 132 minus 125.4 is going to be 6.6. We write the rest of the problem. 6.6 divided by 132 is 0.05. And when we multiply that by 100, we're going to get about 5%. And it went from 132 down to 125.4, so that was a decrease. So the last two are more story problem-ish. Jonas has been saving for a video game. Last year it was $28. This year is $36. I want to find the percent of change. So subtract the two numbers on top. Divide by the first number that they told you in the problem, because that was the original amount. 36 minus 28 is 8. 8 divided by 28 is about 0.286. And then when I multiply that by 100, I'm going to get about 28.6%. And it went from 28 to 36, so that was an increase. Okay, last one. Last month, 349 books were checked out from the school library. This month, 273 books were checked out. Find the percent of change to determine if it's an increase or decrease. So subtract your numbers on top. Divide by the original amount, so 349 times 100. 349 minus 273 is 76. And then 76 divided by 349 is about 0.218. Multiply that by 100 to get about 21.8%. And it went from 349 down to 273, so that was a decrease. So we do these problems the same exact way every time. So you're just going to have to remember, find the change first. And then to turn numbers into percent, you divide by the first number, so the original amount that they told you, and then multiply it by 100 to just move that decimal over twice. If you have any questions, please let me know.